Welcome back to Orange Blossom Healing, the channel where I am excited to help you feel better with diet and lifestyle. Today, we're going to be looking at why reading is an awesome free health hack and how we can accompany our reading with some delicious turmeric-infused raw chocolate bounty bars. So let's go. The first thing I'm going to do is put 80 grams of desiccated coconut into a bowl. Alongside the desiccated coconut, I am going to add 2 tablespoons of coconut cream. You do get this on the top of coconut milk as well. It's like the harder part at the top. If you put it into the fridge for a couple of hours or an hour even before you do this, you'll get a little bit more of the hard part on top. And you just want 2 tablespoons worth of that. We also want 2 tablespoons of MCT oil. Why are we adding MCT oil? Well, MCT stands for medium chain triglycerides. So it's just this chain of fats that is shorter than long chain triglycerides that you might find in things like extra virgin olive oil, avocados, nuts, and other clean, healthy fats. MCTs are great because they are broken down into ketones, which is a form of energy the body can use when there is no sugar coming in. So we have 2 systems in our body, the glucose burning system or sugar burning system and the ketone burning system or fat burning system. You'll hear me talk about this in my other videos about fasting, and MCT oil for this reason is widely recognized as a useful tool to help with weight loss. The other thing that MCT oil is brilliant for is Alzheimer's. So somebody who is suffering with Alzheimer's is unable to break down sugar for energy in the brain, meaning that brain cells are dying off more quickly. But ketones provided by MCT oil pass through the blood-brain barrier and can be used immediately by the brain, even in an Alzheimer's patient. This means that brain cells have more chance of surviving. Because MCTs don't need bile to digest them, they are much easier and quicker to digest, so they pass into the bloodstream as a source of energy very quickly. So this is great for everybody. MCTs even have antimicrobial and antifungal properties, so they are a fantastic health food. You can buy MCT oil as the extracted version of oil from coconuts because you don't find as much of MCT oil inside desiccated coconut or coconut cream. So here we're adding it into the recipe as an extra brain food to accompany our reading. If you can't get your hands on MCT oil, you could just use 2 tablespoons of the coconut milk that's left in the tin or the carton that you've used for your coconut cream. Okay, and the last thing that we're going to add into this bowl is 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. So that is just to sweeten the mixture and help to bind it together. It would be an option to blend this mixture, but I find it really easy to just mix with a fork or a spoon in a bowl and it comes together really quickly. Once you've mixed your ingredients, we just want to bring them together. So you can either do little balls here, or if you want to copy bounty bars, then you can make that bounty bar shape just by squeezing the mixture together in your hands and making it into that kind of bounty shape that we know and love. So whilst I'm doing this, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit more about why I think reading is an awesome free health hack. So did you know that reading has actually been shown among its many benefits to increase longevity? A study was done on over 3,000 participants over 12 years, and it found, taking into consideration many variables like gender, exercise, and other lifestyle factors, that people who read for 30 minutes or more, specifically fiction in this study, lived on average for 2 years more than people who didn't read at all. How amazing is that? And I'm going to link all of the studies that I mentioned today down in the comments below. So I don't know about you, but reading has had a huge impact on my life. I remember vividly the first time that I read Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth. I don't know if you've read that book, but it blew me away. It has almost cinematic descriptions of the characters and the places, the cathedrals. Oh my goodness. I just was completely enthralled by it. I don't know about you, but once I finish a fiction book that I really love and I've become invested in the characters, I am so sad. It's almost like grieving. I'm sure if you are a reader of fiction, you will agree with me that that process is a difficult one when you come to the end of a brilliant book. But there's no doubt of the emotional impact that reading and books have on our lives. And that has in fact also been shown by a number of studies. So there you have my kind of very messy Bounty bars. They only need an hour or maybe 2 hours in the fridge to harden before we cover them in our chocolate. So the next thing we're going to do is make chocolate. And you could obviously just melt down a chocolate that you love, but I love making raw chocolate and adding in my own flavors. So I like to buy organic cacao butter, which you can buy in chunks, or you can buy in little drops, little chocolate drops, which look like white chocolate buttons, but they definitely don't taste that way. Raw chocolate has quite a bitter flavor to it, so I don't recommend nibbling on those. And today I've got 100 grams of my raw cacao butter, which I am going to add to my double boiler and start to melt down. Cacao is good for us in so many ways. I absolutely love it and really recommend you include it in your diet. It is full of polyphenols and flavonols, making it a potent anti-inflammatory. Among its many benefits, it increases blood flow to the brain and improves brain function. So that's perfect when we're relating to reading or concentrating. It also gives us a sense of calm and makes us feel happy. Cacao contains tryptophan, which converts in the body to serotonin and makes us feel happy. And it contains anandamide, which is also known as the bliss molecule, because guess what? It makes you feel blissful. So there's no guilt in eating raw chocolate. It is wonderful for you and a great accompaniment to an activity where you need to concentrate and focus. Reading has also shown in a number of studies to improve our concentration, focus, and memory. To my raw cacao butter, I am going to add 6 tablespoons of raw cacao powder. To really bring out the cacao and offset that flavor, I'm also going to add a pinch of salt. And of course, the star of the show today, I am adding 1 heaped teaspoon of turmeric. Turmeric is also one of the most widely studied anti-inflammatories available in nature. It is incredible for reducing pain and food for all of the organs and systems in the body. Turmeric also effectively increases blood flow to the brain and around the body and helps with memory, having been studied widely as a support for people with Alzheimer's or dementia. Turmeric also reduces stress and is an all-round wonderful preventative of disease and healer. I highly recommend you include it regularly in your diet. Because raw cacao is bitter, we need to add something to sweeten it. So I prefer maple syrup, which is not a particularly sweet sweetener, but you could also use honey or agave syrup or any other sweetener that you prefer. Honey is definitely sweeter, so you would maybe use less, but for 100 grams of cacao butter, I'm going to use 6 tablespoons of maple syrup. So I am stirring this cacao because I really don't want it to burn, and I also don't have it on a super high heat. So the water in my double boiler underneath is not boiling. It is just simmering gently so that I know that the cacao is not going to burn. The last thing I need is black pepper. Bear with me, I know that sounds odd in chocolate. But we need black pepper to activate the compound in turmeric that offers us all of those amazing benefits I just mentioned. So turmeric and black pepper are really good friends, and you want to try and consume them together. Trust me, it doesn't spoil the flavor of the chocolate, and you can't even taste it in the Bounty bars. So when you can see that there's only a little bit of cacao butter left, you can turn the heat off. The heat that is coming from the already hot water will be enough for that to just finish melting. So reading is really exercise for the brain, and the more you exercise the brain, just like any muscle, the better it works. Regular readers have a more vast vocabulary, which generally leads to better social relationships and even better job opportunities. By exposing yourself to different situations and ways of handling things in the written world, you can easily be better at handling difficult situations or being creative with how to handle situations in the real world. In fact, research shows that long-term fiction readers are more empathetic, more confident, and even more intelligent. So what you're going for is this really runny, beautiful consistency, and you don't want any lumps at the bottom. Aside from our delicious Bounty bars, we're going to use the rest of the chocolate to just make a few little chocolates to enjoy with some extra brain food. So today I'm using blueberries and crystallized ginger. So blueberries contain anthocyanins, and so any food that is that purpley color contains these beautiful anthocyanins, which are brilliant brain food, alongside antioxidants and a ton of other benefits. And I'm also using crystallized ginger. So this is ginger that is surrounded by sugar. obviously making the chocolates sweeter. And I'm using ginger because it also increases circulation, blood flow, reduces blood pressure, is a brilliant detoxifier, helps with digestion, reduces inflammation, and is excellent just for preventing and treating even the big bad diseases of this world. So again, ginger is one I would include regularly if you enjoy it. So now we have our Bounty bars that have been sitting in the fridge for about an hour. You could put them in the freezer for even less. And there's a couple of different methods to making these. Now, some people suggest dipping the coconut part into the cacao part, but I have tried that before and I find that they just fall apart, even if they've been in the fridge for long enough. By all means, give it a go. So I have two options for you today. You can either very simply drizzle, and of course, that means that that particular Bounty bar won't be completely coated, but it will have obviously all of that chocolate kick and flavor. Or the alternative is to cover one side completely and then turn it over and make sure that the other side gets coated. And just coat the rest like that. Now, this is obviously messy and you will end up with a big pile of chocolate on the plate. I'm not complaining about that. I scrape it off and eat it in little pieces. But if you have a mold that you would prefer to use, you could use a mold like the one I'm making the chocolates with today. It will be much neater. Or if you're a chocolatier with a better idea, let me know because I am no expert. So whilst I'm doing these, I just wanted to also mention a study by the Natural Literacy Trust recently found that children who read regularly are actually happier with their lives. In fact, they are 3 times more likely to have good mental health than children who don't read at all. So if that's not a good excuse to read with your children, I don't know what is. And the final thing I wanted to mention in this video about reading as a free health hack is that reading, and actually most of the ingredients that we've included today, really promotes better, deeper, longer sleep. So chocolate, or cacao specifically, is also wonderful for this, containing high levels of magnesium. And studies show that reading before bed can increase sleep quality and duration, as well as even relieving symptoms of insomnia. That's because it promotes physical relaxation. So it physically relaxes muscle tension and helps the brain to feel calmer. Reading really calms the mind and reduces stress. A lot of the research looks at fiction, and I've spoken quite a lot about that today, but I also just wanted to mention non-fiction because, of course, reading to learn is a fantastic way to expand our horizons, increase our brain activity, and improve our longevity. When I was in my early 20s, I read a marketing book and it cited the quote, "Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it." I love this quote and I really took it with me. It's impacted a lot of the things that I've done in my life and how I've chosen to do them. And that's not to speak of all of the things I've learned through my studies by reading. So don't underestimate the power of reading non-fiction as much as the power of fiction. And there you have it, your rough and ready turmeric chocolate Bounty bars, which are not perfect because I'm not a chocolatier or an expert. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but they taste good and that is the most important thing. Whatever you read, I hope that you have enjoyed this video today and that you can accompany it with a delicious turmeric-infused raw chocolate Bounty bar. Let me know in the comments your favorite book and enjoy. See you next time.